We're going to take a look at a halal MRE, or meal ready to eat. And despite the fact that the outer packaging kind of resembles something from a commercial MRE, this is an actual genuine MRE produced for the US government. The halal MREs are obviously intended for people who have dietary restrictions, mainly Muslims who need to have halal certified foods. And everything in here is halal certified. These are produced mainly for US troops who just happen to be Muslim, and I have a feeling they probably also are used in places like Guantanamo where there are prisoners who are Muslim. And also I wouldn't be surprised if they're used as part of a humanitarian aid effort in countries where stuff in regular MREs or even HDRs might not be acceptable for some individuals' diets. And halal MREs do have a couple advantages and disadvantages. The first advantage is the obvious one. If you happen to be a Muslim, happen to need a halal certified diet, these are certainly going to be a lot better for you than a standard MRE where you probably wouldn't be able to eat much of what's in there. But for the regular person who's non-Muslim and doesn't really have any need for halal certified foods, there's still a couple of good advantages, or one real main one. If you're somebody who eats quite a few MREs, despite the fact that there are 24 menus in the genuine government MREs, you can still get ration burnout pretty quickly, and you can get tired of what you're getting in there. These halal MREs, on the other hand, they do have, in the cases, they do have some standard MRE dishes like beef stew, ratatouille, things like that. But they also have some very interesting Middle Eastern type foods, like this lentils and masala sauce, and there's also a number of dishes that feature lamb, which is something you don't usually see in MREs. The main disadvantage is that despite the fact that these are basically genuine MREs, and they have genuine MRE components, which are halal certified, they also have a few other components. I don't know if you can see this silver packaging in here, but there are a few components in there which don't have standard retort pouches. And because of that, these are only designed to last about a year, probably a year maximum. Genuine MREs have a 3 to 5 year shelf life. They have an inspection date on the cases of 3 years after production. These halal ones have an inspection date of 1 year after date of production. And they're probably going to last a lot longer. These entrees, I'm guessing, are going to be similar to a regular MRE and will probably last the 3 to 5 years. But the stuff in the silver pouches are going to have a much shorter shelf life. Oh, and I probably also should mention, too, that this one does have a date code on it of 4231, meaning it was packaged on the 231st day of 2014. So being about 3 years old, if this was a standard MRE, wouldn't be at all concerned about it. But this is actually past the recommended date of use for this one. And since it does have the clear packaging, we can also see some of the date codes on the inside. This side dish here has a date code of 4141, and the main is a little bit hidden, but it has a date code of 4140. So I think that's really all there's to say about it. We'll go ahead and open this up. It does have the peelable seal like a standard MRE has. And this peelable seal seems to be a fail. Yeah. And that can happen, no big deal. Let's give that a slice. So here's the halal lentils and masala sauce. See the ingredients here. The ingredient list does tend to look a little bit shorter on the halal meals than on a regular one. Of course, this is a halal beef stew, but you can see this is kind of typical of a standard MRE, but this is pretty short for a ingredients list. I don't know to what extent that means that they're more natural and they have less additives in them, preservatives and stuff, but that's what it has. And actually, you can see that pretty much everything on here is like real food kind of stuff. There aren't a lot of those really complicated names and stuff. So I guess maybe the whole thing does have a shorter shelf life because it probably does have fewer preservatives. But anyway, here are the nutrition facts if you want to check those out too. The sides on these tend to be pudding, which is, I don't know, it's kind of interesting that that's what they almost always are. And like some of the regular MREs that do have a dessert pudding mix, this is actually ready to eat. You don't have to add water to it and mix it up. There's a lot of ingredients in this one. And it's chocolate mocha pudding. We also have a lemon lime beverage base powder. Now this doesn't say anything about being halal certified. I think it's basically just the mains that need to be halal certified, although these snacks do have the certification on them too. And we have a flameless ration heater, no hot beverage bag, And it's these snacks. We have sweet and salty peanuts. And you're going to see on these actually have the Best By date instead of a date code. And it says Best By August 13th, 2015, which is over 2 years ago. It's manufactured in August of 2013, so this was actually good for 2 years, but it's still 2 years out of date. Yeah, you can feel, these definitely aren't retort pouches. These are just silver foil pouches. Certainly not going to last as long. This is a traditional snack mix with a lot of ingredients in there. And that has a Best By date of August 12th, 2015. Manufactured August 12th, 2014. Oatmeal cookies. Best By August 13th, 2015. And Energizer Trail Mix. Best By August 13th, 2015 also. So you can see you get a good number of snacks. You get basically your main and then a dessert, the pudding, one beverage, and a whole bunch of snacks. And you also have this commercial looking accessory pack, which does, I can see one advantage of this. It has the genuine MRE spoon in it. Otherwise it kind of looks like a meal kit supply accessory pack. And you have a couple of sugars. There's actually nothing really to put these sugars on unless your drink isn't sweet enough or your pudding. You also have salt, and then the nice touch is pepper, because genuine MREs do not come with pepper. Moist towelette, these commercial MRE napkins, a white book of matches, and some toilet paper. Standard MRE stuff, the standard MRE spoon. So I had forgotten that these don't come with coffee. Like I said, they do give you the sugar, but nothing really to put it on. But that means that this really does just come with one beverage, the lemon lime beverage base powder. So here's everything that you get with this lentils and masala sauce halal MRE. These halal MREs are not numbered like standard MREs. I guess you basically just go by the name of the entree, which is always visible through the clear packaging. And as you can see, the word of the day for this seems to be snacks, snacks, and more snacks. Alright, and we'll get started by heating up the entree, the lentils and masala sauce. I'm not a vegetarian, so I wouldn't have minded if it had been like, say, chicken in masala sauce or something like that, but the fact that it's something different should be pretty good. Try to get the water into the heating elements here. Oh wow, it's starting right up. It's a good sign. And you can see the steam coming out of there. And you're not supposed to put it in the box right away to avoid getting burnt by it. But I like to ensure that it's fully activated before putting it in the box. And we'll just rest this at an angle on a rock or something. Give that about 15 minutes to heat up. And we'll check out the rest of the stuff we have. Might as well open up these snacks first. I'm going to run out of room on this tray here. So we have the Energizer Trail Mix. It's a trail mix with M&Ms, or as I'm sure they're called, pan-coated chocolate discs. Actually, in this case, they call them chocolatey pieces, as peanuts, raisins, chocolatey pieces, and almonds. And we have the sweet and salty peanuts. I'm going to put these in with the trail mix, since it's not that big of a pouch anyway. I can smell the peanuts from here. They almost smell, they smell a little bit musty, but I think it has to do with the sweet and salty nature of them. So the traditional snack mix. pretty good pouch of this stuff. How much is in here? There's 2.23 ounces. There's 63.22 grams. I'll put as much as I can in here, but it's going to be more than will fit. So that'll give you a good idea what you're getting. And there is still a pretty good amount left in the pouch. And then the oatmeal cookies. These pouches, some of them have a tear notch and some of them don't. I was trying to open them just like this and it seems to be pretty hard to do, so the tear notches are definitely helpful. All I can smell is those peanuts. They're really kind of taking everything over, but these smell good, these oatmeal cookies. There could be a little bit of staleness to some of this, but in general I think everything's going to be fine. Next we'll check out the lemon lime beverage base powder, which takes 12 ounces of water. This is one of their most standard MRE beverages, classic. And wait, it really doesn't smell like anything. At least it doesn't smell bad. These non-carbohydrate electrolyte ones tend to take a little bit longer to mix up, and they also tend to not mix all the way. As you can see that there are some little bits spinning around at the bottom that didn't quite mix. Not a huge deal though. And then we have our chocolate mocha pudding. Biggest problem I've had with these is the fact that they're it's kind of hard to get them out of the pouch. It's probably easy to just open the pouch up and eat it right out of the pouch with a spoon. Or I suppose you can squeeze it out of a small hole in the pouch. But since we are doing a review, I'm going to put it into the tray. And actually it even does give you the tear notches on the sides here so that you can eat it the long way, which would be more convenient for eating it with a spoon than trying to dig all the way down to the bottom. I should have actually just opened up a corner so I could have squeezed it out. I think I prefer the powdered ones. They seem to taste a little bit more like real pudding. There's definitely a convenience factor with this, and the fact that you just open it up and eat it. It is ready to eat. But they always have this kind of a chemical sort of a taste to them. Sort of a, I don't know, kind of a plastic sort of a taste. I mean, it is pudding. You don't expect it to be all natural. But there does seem to be something about it that's just a little bit off. It just leaves us with our lentils and masala sauce. And this still has a lot of heat. I'm taking it out a little bit early, but it's because I want to get to it. Just wipe this off a little. And that is heated up pretty good. I am going to mix it up a little bit to distribute the heat. This also has the tear notches on the long side. You never know what you're going to get. They always go back and forth. But obviously in the field, this would be a very convenient way of eating it. It smells good. It smells like, you know, it smells like chicken masala. Something that you would get in a nice Indian restaurant. This would actually go good with a little bit of naan. That's something I'm kind of surprised they haven't made. In addition to the wheat snack bread, crackers, biscuits, garlic breadsticks, and stuff like that, I'm surprised they haven't made naan. But I guess it would only be for these meals. Yeah, and this really does smells very good. This basically is cooked lentils, water, carrots, onion, modified food starch, soybean oil, seasonings, tomato paste, and bell peppers. You know, obviously you can see the lentils, it's the main thing in here, and it's just this is a very thick stew kind of a thing. It's not very in a liquid state at all. It's pretty dry, pretty solid. You can see carrot here. Looks like some onion here. Yep, some onion, some carrot. But basically a pile of lentils in a very Indian-smelling sauce. for lack of a better word. I'm sure there's a better Mideastern term to describe that, but basically that's what it smells like to me. It smells like something I would get at a nice Indian restaurant around here. Let's go ahead and try it out. And obviously we want to start with the main, because that's still hot. Let me get a little bit of everything in here. Get some of this onion and carrot in there. And I'd say it's not really much to look at. And this is going to be a vegetarian meal, which I would prefer to have it with meat, but as long as it tastes good, that's the important thing. And it gives you all the nutrients you need. Yeah, that's very good. It definitely has a very, as I said, for lack of a better word, Indian kind of flavor to it. Kind of like a little bit like a curry, like a masala kind of thing. And not very spicy at all. But at the same time, it's not bland. I mean, this has some good flavor to it. You can imagine this with some chicken or some lamb in it, being delicious. And that's not to say that it isn't delicious. A big part of it, of course, is the novelty, having something that's different rather than your standard beef stew, chicken with vegetables. It's definitely a nice change. If you like your food really spicy, you probably would want to add a little bit of hot sauce to it, because although they don't have hot sauce in here, they do have the salt and pepper. I don't think it really needs that, but that's up to you, of course. I guess we'll try our chocolate mocha pudding. And that's good. It actually has some grainy bits in it. It almost, you can, when you bite down, it's a little bit grainy. It almost feels like when you have a powdered one and you don't quite mix it all the way. But it's overall good. It does have that kind of chemically sort of plastic kind of flavor I mentioned, but it's not bad. And I think the mocha adds to it. Instead of just being a plain chocolate pudding, it adds a little bit more of a level of interest. Let's try this Energizer Trail Mix. Notice there's one funny clump here of peanuts and raisins. But let me get a little bit of everything. Some of the chocolate, some of the raisins, some of the peanuts, and some of the almonds. And try it all at once. And that's good. And it is a little bit salty. Regular MREs don't tend to have salt in their trail mixes, but and this doesn't feel terribly salty, but it does have a little bit of salty. You know what? It could just be the chocolate, the sweetness of the chocolate, and the raisins. Yeah, I think that's all it is. It does say salt on the ingredient list, but it's the very last ingredient. And I think the most important thing is, despite the fact that it's a little bit more than 2 years out of date, it seems to be just fine. It doesn't seem to have gone stale. Generally, it seems like raisins, when I'm eating older MREs, they're the things that tend to, for whatever reason, really start showing their age first. And these maybe are a little bit. They taste fine, but they do seem to be a little bit on the dry side. A little desiccated almost. But they're fine. And now I want to try these sweet and salty peanuts, which are kind of tainting this whole thing because everything smells like this now. But despite that kind of little bit of mustiness, they're actually really tasty. It kind of tastes like they're candied. The sweet salty thing is a nice combination. I wouldn't mind seeing this in more MREs. Obviously, everybody's used to salty peanuts, but having that sweetness in it too is pretty nice. Of course, I do have a sweet tooth. Let's try some of this traditional snack mix. Yeah, looks like we have pretzels, these chips here, pretzel sticks, Chex cereal. Oh, and then this another kind of these chips is like the looks like it was made from like white bread and wheat bread. Not sure exactly what you would call these. It's kind of like a little like a cracker chip kind of thing. But let's try this out. That's good. There may be a little bit of a staleness in there. Oh, I didn't see these two of these like little breadsticks. Yeah, there may be a slight staleness to this. Mostly coming through on the cereal and the Chex and like that breadstick there. But slight. And considering the fact that these also are 2 years past their best by date, I don't think that's bad at all. It's definitely edible. Nothing off. Maybe a slight bit of packaging taste. I think that's the worst I can say about it. And we'll try the lemon lime drink, which actually did mix up pretty good in the end. As your standard, that does seem to taste a little bit off. Kind of tastes like your standard MRE lemon lime drink, like a Kool-Aid type of thing. Then has a little bit of a packagey chemical sort of aftertaste. Which I'm not saying they don't have anyway, but that's kind of noticeable. And this is one thing that I would least expect to be affected by the time, because as far as I can see, this is just a standard drink mix, which lasts kind of almost forever. But anyway, it's not bad. It's just, I don't know, a little bit of a weird aftertaste. And one last bit of this masala before it gets cold. And of course we have to have our extra dessert, our oatmeal cookies. This will be another test of the freshness factor. And that's good. Tastes a lot like a standard MRE oatmeal cookie, those big ones that you get. Seems to be perfectly fresh. Definitely has a nice crunch to it. Nice little bit of sweetness, not overly sweet, but definitely has some sweetness to it. Maybe a little bit of molasses for the sweetness. Well, let's kick it up a notch with some chocolate mocha. That's really good. That's better than the pudding on its own. Yeah, it actually is. It is a lot better. Kind of improves them both. But once again, the cookies, just like the 3 other snacks in the silver foil packaging, seem to be just fine despite being 2 years past their best by date. So that was a look at a Halal MRE from Sapaco. And this was Lentils in Masala Sauce from 2014. Thank you for watching.